Bangalored.
However, the interesting fact about Beethoven was, see, prior to Beethoven, all the musicians, famous musicians that you know of, were employed either by the court or by the church.
Okay.
So they had
They had employment.
it was employment. Writing music was a job.
Job.
So it was like, the concerned person at the church was like, okay, Mr. Bach, we have this special, Sunday coming up, is the feast of such and such. So we need a cantata, or we need a whatever it is. So you'll need to write for it. I mean, can you imagine writing so much music like every week for the church? I mean, it was a job. You sat down and wrote. You did not wait for inspiration.
Right.
That happened later. That idea of getting inspired and writing happened in the Romantic era. That is Chopin's era.
Oh, which is you're.
So we are talking about 1820-ish to about 1900. Okay. So this was what was called the Romantic era.
Okay.
So prior to Beethoven, who passed away about 1827 or 1828, I think. Prior to that, prior to him, musicians were employed.
Okay.
So Mozart was employed.
Okay.
All of them were employed.
It was a job and they were paid a monthly sum or whatever it was.
And so, he was employed by the court and, said, okay, we are having a hunting party on Sunday. Please write nice music for it. Yes, sir. And he would write.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like that. It was a paid job.
They were commercial artists. Technically.
In a way, yes.
In a way, right?
That's right.
In a way.
And then when Beethoven came into the picture, he himself was a different temperament altogether. He was what you would call the first freelance artist.
Okay.
He refused to be under anyone. Okay, so he was the first one. It's like, I'm writing the music that I want.
Right.
If you like it, that's great. If you don't like it, I don't care.
But if you don't like it, yeah.
I don't care. He used to write music, send it to publishers. Fortunately, they loved it. And they published it, and that's how he got money. And he was commissioned also by members of the aristocracy and other people, to write. So
because he'd made a name for himself.
Yes, and he was well in demand. But you may know about his temperament. He was very a bit sullen, a bit short-tempered, very had a fiery temper. It shows in his music.
I suppose.
So so he was the so-called first freelance musician, and after that there was no turning back. After that, Chopin, Schumann, Liszt, no one was employed by anyone.
Okay.
They were their own.
So he started the trend.
That's right.
And so he inspired other musicians to follow the same
and
pattern.
With the Romantics, they're in La La Land a little bit.
Right,
It's like, I can't write until, So, Mendelssohn, for example, who is a contemporary of Chopin, he went to Scotland and he saw the Hebrides coast. Very stormy, very stormy coast, and he saw it and he got inspired and he wrote a piece called Hebrides. So basically, a lot of the Romantic era composers were either inspired by a poem, by a painting, by a landscape, by something connected, and then they would actually write trying to depict that. And that is what's called program music.
So
meaning
these
music
people
with
started that.
Sorry?
This era and these musicians.
Yes, it's not that it wasn't there before, but mostly the music was, very technically sound. Like, you had a form, this is what you need to do. You were not like, okay, I like that painting, let me write about it.
Right.
It was not like that. There were few instances of that where music had titles, okay? Otherwise they were in the title of the form that they were written. But from this era onwards, it became about, oh, look at that beautiful moon.
There was a story to it.
Right. And this became huge in the Romantic era.
Oh,
yeah. So and Chopin is one of these composers.
So technically, Beethoven is the world's first freelance musician.
Exactly.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that is such an interesting piece of trivia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bang.